Hello, my dear HR professionals. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing 5 very less known HR job profiles, and why we are discussing them, because in my opinion they are very rich job profiles and not many people know about them. And if you ever get a chance to work on these profiles, I would advise that just grab the opportunity, because they are so good and they will make your HR experience so rich and worthwhile that you will fall in love with your career all over again. So let's quickly jump into all these. This video is powered by KR. Number one on the list is a job profile related to change management. Now, there can be different nomenclature when it comes to a change management HR job profile. It can be directly named as a change manager, change executive, change specialist, or it can be named as a HR project manager. So the primary job of a change manager is to ensure that the changes that has been foreseen by the management or have been decided by the management, they take place in a smooth way and everything happens as per the plan. And finally, once the execution is done, people accept that change very well. Now, let me give you some examples so that you understand it better, that in what situations HR change managers or project managers in general work. So whenever a company undergo a huge shift, it can be related to their org structure. Say for example, the company was following a flat structure where there were just 3-4 levels of hierarchy. Now all of a sudden, because company has grown so much and there are various locations in the company, now company can decide to change all of this and they want to redesign their entire org structure from scratch. They don't want to follow the old system anymore, not even like a single job title or job stage from the old one. They just want to redesign, revamp the whole org structure. In such a case, it's the HR change managers responsibility that they speak to the stakeholders. And who are the stakeholders? The managers who head each team, or the managers that are involved in this process, who are basically people managers. So they speak to all the stakeholders, the management. They understand what is the expectation from the management side, what they really want to do, and then the HR change manager give their opinion on what is feasible in this situation, what can be done, or what the industry follows, what the similar companies in a similar domain are following. So the HR change manager will give all those inputs. Then collectively, the management and the HR department will come on a conclusion, on a plan, that how this whole process will be executed. Now then the HR change manager will speak to the stakeholder, I said managers, normal team managers, and the HR will then set the expectation with the stakeholder, that this is the expectation and this is the plan and this is how we are going to execute it. The ultimate goal is that the people who are undergoing all this shift, they shouldn't feel insecure about their job title. They shouldn't feel that earlier they were placed higher and now with the new org structure they are placed lower, and how the salary and everything is going to change. So it's the HR change manager's responsibility that all of this happens seamlessly and nobody should feel devalued, demoted because of all this change. And once the plan is executed and everything come to life, as in the new org structure come to life, then a huge part of the job goes into employee support, because employees are not going to get used to that new org structure from the day one. They will have a lot of queries, they will have questions about their career progression, they will be insecure whether their job title will be required any longer in the organization or not, because though it sounds simple at the surface level, but people do feel insecure about these things a lot. And HR change manager make it happen on papers and on the floor as well. And another example that I can give you is from the perspective of HR project manager title. Say for example, your company is located in 4-5 locations, and company decides to create a new office at Pune location, and there wasn't any office there earlier. So it's the HR project manager's responsibility that all the HR process, policies and everything is set in place for the new employees or new office. So everything has to set from ground zero to up running full-fledged policies and processes. So that's the work of a HR project manager. So HR project managers also move from projects to projects. So they are basically found in companies which are huge MNCs and they have multiple locations. So for example, financial institutions, banks that you see. So their HR project manager will finish one project, as I described you for the Pune location. They'll set up everything and then they'll head on to the next project which the company might have. It can be related to change, or it can be related to creating process and policies from scratch. It can be anything. The whole point is that the employees receive all these changes well with minimal friction. That's when it's called a successful project for HR people. It sounds pretty simple on the surface, but believe me, it's not. So that was the number one job role, which I feel is quite less popular, and people get confused when they hear about what's the change manager, what they will do. I just gave you one example. There are a lot of, like, hundreds of situations where the change management is required, and that's where the HR change managers play a vital role. So next time, if you ever get an opportunity to work on such a position, just grab it, because you are going to learn so much in that role. It's beyond your imagination. Now moving on to our second role, which is talent branding specialist. And this also confuses a lot of youngsters who are not yet fully aware about the HR role, and when they see a role like this, they get confused that what is it? Is it related to recruitment? Because the moment the word talent is tagged, everybody assumes it to be a recruitment role. Guys, no, this is not a recruitment role. Talent branding specialists are people who are hired inside HR team, and their main purpose is to make sure that the brand of the company, as a people brand, I mean how people like it to work in a particular company, to take that brand to next level, to make people outside the market aware that this brand exists, this company exists, and this cares so much about their employees, and you should come and work at this brand. Basically, to create a feeling that people should aspire to work at the company that they are creating awareness about. For example, how everybody aspire to work at Google, Microsoft. It's not only because they are great companies, because there are many great companies out there, but people do not know about all those great companies. It's because these companies have consciously put an effort to create that kind of brand awareness through these kind of roles, which consciously work to spread awareness in the market about the kind of care they give to their talent. It can be engaging on social media, creating awareness content on social media, talking about what the company is up to, and talking about the benefits at different platforms so that people read, and then they get influenced, and then they aspire to work at the company. And why all of this is done? Why companies want to put all of this awareness? Solely because they want to attract the best of the talent out there. The talent market can get to know how amazing the company is and what are the benefits they can expect when they come into that company and work for that company. So if I have to describe this role in one single sentence, it is to promote the reputation of the company as a preferred employer where everybody wants to come and work. So that's the job, and everything that can facilitate this promotion comes under the job role of this profile. So that's what a talent branding specialist does. And I will very soon try to make a detailed video only on this profile, because this definitely needs elaboration, because it's such an interesting role. You get to work on a very different side of HR. It's not your typical employee operations where you are just taking care of day-to-day operations and making sure the process and policies are in place. This job profile is really different and interesting one, so you must know in detail about it. So I'll try to create a video dedicated just to this job role. So if you want to keep yourself updated about this, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you get the notification when I post about this job role. So with that, let's move to our third job role, which is also a very less talked about role, and that is the job role of a diversity and inclusion specialist. Now, when diversity and inclusion is talked about, people mostly think that the role is only about making sure that there are equal number of female employees in the company. Guys, it's not so. And diversity and inclusion, it's not only about having a good ratio of male and female employees. It's much more than that. It's to ensure that there is no biasness, conscious or unconscious whatsoever. You should have employees from a real diverse background, ethnicities, from all walks of life, all kind of experience, not just your typical with your typical degrees and educational qualification. Beyond that, it's about including everybody who's capable of doing that job well, regardless of where they come from, what their background is, what's their ethnicity is. Few great MNCs are very dedicated about this thing, and they create then this kind of job profiles inside their HR team so that they can facilitate diversity and inclusion in their company. And along with that, diversity and inclusion specialist also takes care that if any breach happens, if the company is not following what it is supposed to, then what are the consequences, what kind of policies should be designed to ensure that people take it seriously. And if somebody has breached the policies, what are the consequences? Are you going to remove them from the company? If there will be any warnings, how many warnings, and how all these things will be executed? Because as I said, these things look really simple on the surface level, but they are not. Just for example, imagine you are a diversity and inclusion specialist and you take care of all of that, and somehow you figured out somebody at a VP level has been found guilty of facilitating something unethical which is against the diversity and inclusion policy of the company. How you are going to handle it? That's very tricky situations, and believe me, this happens more than often in a lot of companies, and HR people have to deal with all of these situations. Obviously, as an employee, they are also terrified that if something goes wrong, or if the information is false, or they are not able to manage it well, what will happen? They can lose their job. That can be the consequences. So HR job is very political in nature. It's not that simple how it is represented to the word. There is a lot that goes behind the scenes which people are not aware. So I'll say it is a very political job, but at the same time it's very interesting, very enriching. Diversity and inclusion profile gives you so much of experience of working with different people, and this job role will push you to think differently, to think about all the ways you can use to attract that kind of talent to your company. Talent with diverse background, talent from all walks of life, as I said, and making sure that there is no conscious or unconscious bias in the overall hiring process or the promotion process, because it can so happen that a manager from a particular ethnicity just promote people from his own community. So it happens all the time. So HR plays an important role here, and they take care of all these things. They are there to make sure that these kind of things do not happen, and everything and everyone are compliant to the policies that are designed for the welfare of the company. With that, let's move on to our next job role, which is employee wellness coordinator, or you can say employee wellness specialist, depending on what the experience level of the person is. This job profile also have gained a lot of popularity in recent time. So the main purpose of this job role is to develop and manage employee wellness programs or initiatives, or you can say activities that are aimed specifically at promoting employee well-being, their health on workplace. It can be creating awareness campaigns, it can be designing activities from time to time, it can be creating the whole calendar for the whole year, how you are going to promote employee health at workplace, what activities are you going to do. You can invite some doctors who specialize in posture correction, because that's the biggest problem most of the employee face, because they keep sitting for longer duration and it impacts their health. So you can do that. You can run awareness campaigns about the diseases which are very common. For example, heart related diseases are rising, so you can create several programs around the year. So you have to make sure that you plan certain programs, initiatives, awareness campaigns, so that employees wellness is taken care of. Or you can if the company has funds, you can give gym membership or maybe yoga plans or membership. You can promote all of that, or you can facilitate all this in the campus of your company itself, and people can, just walk in and experience, learn those activities within the office campus itself. A lot of companies does that. Or you can, plan these activities online, maybe on weekends if employees prefer that. So whatever works. So it is the responsibility of employee wellness coordinator or specialist that they design something like this. So that's the motive, that's the purpose. Now this job role can be in combination with something else. Say for example, you are working on a normal HR executive job role, it's a small company and there isn't enough work that keeps you occupied, then the management might add on to these responsibilities on your job profile, and you're taking care of all of this alongside your normal HR operations. But if the organization is huge, most likely you will find these job profiles separately. You'll not be taking care of normal operations with this job profile. But if the company is small, it can be in combination. Not necessarily has to be a separate profile. So that's how it goes. And next on the list is my personal favorite, which I talk about a lot, and that profile is of a merger and acquisition specialist. It can be, when you start, it can be a merger and acquisition coordinator or merger and acquisition executive or something of that sort, or specialist if you're really experienced one. Or it can be even on a contract assignment, because merger and acquisitions do not last forever. That activity ends, it can be anywhere from 6 months to 1 year or max 2 years if the project is really huge. If the company that is getting acquired is huge, it will take a lot of time for the person to make sure the changes are effective on time, and the changes has to be done gradually. It's not so that in a single day those employees will be merged into the company's employees who is acquiring them. It takes a lot of time. So merger and acquisition role is one such role that will teach you, I'll say 1 year of merger and acquisition job role experience is equal to almost 7-8 years of normal HR experience, where you are not doing anything special and it's just regular HR day-to-day operations. It's that powerful. 1 year experience into M&A job profile, it's that powerful because it's like being on your toes every single day, because there is a change management happening, there is due diligence happening, there is normal HR operations happening, there is HR analysis happening. Just to give you an example, say for example, the company you are acquiring is working into Java technology, and your company works into, say for example, .NET. I'm just giving a little outdated example, but let's just assume. So how you are going to deploy those Java people? Say for example, that company has 1,000 technology people, engineers who are working on Java technology. How you are going to merge them? Because your company has all the projects which are in .NET. How you are going to merge them, or you can say bring them to your company and give them projects? How will you do it? So this is not something that happens overnight. All of this is thought through, and before they come on board, company has to take time and see what kind of projects they can get new, or they can create, what kind of demand they can create within, how they will map their compensation structure to the existing company's compensation structure. Say for example, they have some variable bonus and your company do not have any variable bonus. It's not so that once they come to your company they will take a pay cut. No, they have to be onboarded in your company with the same package at which they are in that company. Otherwise they'll feel insecure, and it's not fair also, and that's not how things work. So all of these calculations and making sure that every single person is onboarded with the same salary and same job security, it takes a lot of work, and a lot of work with the data also. So it's a very intense job role, and let me tell you, it's not everybody's cup of tea. To give you a disclaimer here, if you are ready to be on your toes, and if you are ready to take that challenge for yourself, only then jump in it. Yes, M&A people are paid very well, but there is a reason why they are paid very well. They are not your regular HR people. They are little next level because they have to. They do not have any other option. They do not have a choice of being average, because if they are average, everything will be screwed up and they'll be kicked out of the room or the company. Who knows? They do not have an option to be an average HR person. They have to be smart enough. They have to do their due diligence. They have to make sure that entire project works out seamlessly. There are no errors, because every single detail of M&A work gets noticed by the management directly. The CEOs, the VPs, the directors, everybody takes note of that progress because they are involved into M&A process, and it's all legal thing. If anything goes wrong, things can get really messy, and who will be then held accountable for that? Obviously, the M&A person will be held accountable. And if you have that courage and you want to take some challenges in your HR career and want to grow exponentially, your experience wise as well, and financially as well, then please make sure that you do not miss out on an opportunity to work into the field of merger and acquisition. Do try to work on that, even if you get it for a short amount of time. It will change your perspective and it will make you grow so much in a very little time. I think I've sold you the job role little too much, because it's my personal favorite and I have gained a lot of knowledge and confidence because of it, that yes, if I can do that, I can do anything in HR space. So that's the M&A job role in nutshell. So we have discussed the 5 job roles that I wanted to talk about. Let's take a look quickly at all of them. Number 1, related to change management, or you can say project management, HR project management. Number 2, talent branding specialist. Number 3, employee wellness champions or coordinators. Number 4, diversity and inclusion specialist. And number 5, merger and acquisition job roles. So with that, we came to the end of this video. I'm signing off. You keep on watching more content on the HR destination to be a successful HR professional, and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye.